Join the sports desk of Royal FM for Sports Hour. Sports Hour is a sports program in English in which we give you a full dose of sports news, interviews, commentaries, reports in Cameroon, Africa, and the world. Sports Hour is here to start on Royal FM 88.4 stereo. Join the sports desk of Royal FM for Sports Hour. Sports Hour is a sports program in English in which we give you a full dose of sports news, interviews, commentaries, reports in Cameroon, Africa, and the world. Sports Hour is here to start on Royal FM 88.4 stereo.
Hello, midweek greetings from us at Royal FM on to you, and most importantly, happy youth day to all the youths out there listening to us on Royalty 8.4 FM. My name is Biwa Brian. Signing in is the program Sports Hour, a Wednesday regular which comes up every week on Wednesdays to keep you all updated around the world of sports. Coming up today, we are going to be looking at the Elite 1 and 2 Championship plus other picks, notably a favorable pick around this day, which is the Youth Day. We're going to have these picks plus several other picks featuring today's edition of the program, where we are going to have panelists with whom we are going to discuss all these diverse topics. To ensure that today's program is a success, on the technical dashboard, I have Horaires Sportifs on the cameras for our various social media handles, notably on YouTube. I have Brian Bida. Production assistance is done for us by Evans Williams Chopati. Editorial coaching is ensured for us by Abel Belasamari. Coordination is coming in from the station's manager, Roger Kiek. And for general supervision, the Reverend Pastor Bisai Emmanuel Noel. Do not go away as I treat you to this gospel interlude. I will be right back.
Onaga, hey! Let me hear you scream! Let's go! Here's the breaking for my sake. What is the moving for my sake? Hey, what's the falling for my sake? Everything
Before getting to today's edition of the program, we take out some time to talk about the mutual assistance and the solidarity program. So, an initiative that has been brought at the disposal of almost everybody, who is willing. An initiative that has been brought at your footstep to be able to elevate you from the shackles of poverty, to help you in your daily endeavors, to help you in whichever way you deem fit. With this initiative, you stand a lot of things to benefit. We've had the last 5 editions where people have benefited a lot of things that ranges from cash prizes to material prizes and various sorts of assistance. All these things you stand to benefit just because you got yourself enrolled for the mutual assistance and the solidarity program. So now, beginning with the things you start to benefit, I am going to start with the cash prizes, which range from 100,000 CFA francs stretching through to 2 million CFA francs. You equally have material prizes like villa houses, like vehicles, personal vehicles to be precise, tricycles, taxis, and what have you. You can equally benefit from assistance like I highlighted earlier on, their health assistance, legal assistance, construction of borehole, and several others. Now, for the health assistance, you benefit this at the Mame Hospital Complex, where if you have any health worries, once you are at the Mame Hospital Complex, there is going to be a discount, a percentage discount on all your bills. And the most fascinating or the most interesting thing about this particular assistance is that it doesn't apply only to you alone. You can equally pick out a few of your friends and family members, you give their names there, and they're equally going to be able to benefit from this percentage cut on their bills, or their bills at the Mame Hospital Complex. The complex is located at Nouvelle Route Kwabang. You go there, you're going to see it. If you want to go there, probably you just ask around, and they are going to lead you to the premises. Very easy to locate. You equally have legal assistance. This is something that's equally been done by the Mutual Assistance Solidarity Program for all those who need help in the legal field and they don't know how to go about it. You need help in binding your properties. Do you need help in whatever thing, in as much as it involves the legal field? There is a group of experts, of legal experts, with the Mutual Assistance Solidarity Program that will lead you through this journey. And it doesn't just come like that. You must get yourself enrolled for the Mutual Assistance Solidarity Program. This one is exclusively only for mutualists. So once you're a mutualist, you stand an opportunity to benefit from this. The other assistance too, like the accompanying, that the mutual assistance is going to accompany you if you're getting married or if you are bereaved. All these things you start to benefit once you have a certain level of seniority with the mutual assistance and the solidarity program. Going back to the cash prizes, which I earlier on highlighted, which stretch from 100,000 CFA francs right through to 2 million CFA francs. Now, this is a sum of money that you can use in a lot of things, provided you are business minded. You can use it to finance your already existing business. You can use it to start a new business. You can use it to expand your business. You may use it for educational purpose. At the end of the day, the most important thing is that the money you put in must be able to inject returns, or the injections you make must be able to bring back returns on your investments. And those are some of the things that the Mutual Assistance Solidarity Program tries to encourage. In the past editions, we've had a lot of persons who have benefited from this and have gone on to scale their businesses. This may just be an opportunity to be able to win any of these, perhaps the material prizes, perhaps the cash prizes, the assistance, and so on. For you to get yourself enrolled for this initiative, I know that's the big question you're asking yourself. You just head over to any of the Group Premier Pro Finance SA branches, or you come to Royal FM. Royal FM is located at Sapper Mimoman, what we call in English the Firefighters Brigade. Once you're there, you just ask around for Royal FM. They are going to lead you. You can equally get yourself registered here. Aside from that, we equally have registry points that have been situated in a different parts of Yaoundé. We have a couple of them. You go there and you ask to get yourself enrolled, and they are going to make the process very easy. I'm going to take you through some of these registry points in Yaoundé. We have one which is in Damas, around the Rond-Point Damas. There you are going to see Thérèse Veronique. To get to her, you can call the number 696093302, 696093302. There is another registration point too that you can locate at Sam Escalier. There's a kiosk there, somewhere there. To get to the person there, you can call the number 674-322294, 674-322294. We have another one at Simiyong, Share Simiyong, towards BMRC Lac. You can get to the person through the number 6902616 76 690261676 or 699858155 699858155. You can get to any of these registry points. You head over to any of the Group Renapro Finances agencies, or you come to Royal FM to get yourself enrolled. One very important thing you should notice is that once you go there to get yourself enrolled, you would have to do a contribution of 26,000 CFA francs. This 26,000 CFA francs is a symbolic sum of money that you need to contribute to seal your registration for the mutual assistance and the solidarity program. So the most important thing that you should know here is that this 26,000 CFA francs, you do not need to necessarily pay the entirety of the money at a go. You may decide to split it into installments that will suit you. But the most important thing is that by the deadline, which is in July 29th this year, you must have contributed the entirety of the 26,000 CFA francs. If by the deadline you have contributed perhaps 25,975 francs, it's just unfortunate that you will not be able to get any of the benefits I just listed. So it must be the 26,000 CFA francs in its entirety. For more inquiries, you can get to us through any of the following numbers: 640613842, 640613842, or 671157321, 671157321. That's it for the mutual assistance.
Renaproof offers muscle.
They all became proud owners of luxurious villas, starting with just 100 francs CFA. Act 1.
I am called Makunchop Cecile. I want a very beautiful house. I say thank you to Maso. When they told me, I did not even believe.
Act 2.
Ebodin Chama Josephine.
Here I am. I am an owner of a villa house. I am truly happy.
Act 3.
Bibagwe Kuma Jimmy.
Even I didn't believe it. Subscribing is a reality. I subscribed with 26,000 CFA francs. Today, I am receiving the keys to a villa house.
Act 4.
Chami Jacques.
It's a great and immense joy that fills me right now, because with 26,000 CFA francs, which I didn't believe, I find myself the owner of a villa house.
Act 5.
I am Kamje Epoze Mangwa. The surprise was very big. The Lord is wonderful. He offered me a house.
Who will be the next beneficiary? At Maso, we simply live our African values.
Il est 15h.
Une voiture neuve de l'heure, clé en main pour tes déplacements. C'est l'heure de gagner chez Orange. Pour en profiter, souscris à un forfait Orange Bonus au dièse 111 étoile 1 dièse ou va sur Max It. Orange est là.
Renaproof offre Maso. Ils sont tous devenus propriétaires de villas à partir de 100 francs CFA seulement. Acte 1.
Je m'appelle Makunchop Cecile. J'ai gagné une belle maison. Je dis merci à Masso. Je ne m'attendais pas à gagner une maison. Quand on m'a dit, je ne croyais même pas.
Acte 2.
Ebodin Chama Josephine, infirmière.
Je suis là, je suis propriétaire d'une villa. Je suis vraiment content.
Acte 3.
Bibagwe Kuma Jimmy.
Moi-même, je n'y croyais pas. Aller souscrire, c'est de la réalité. J'ai souscrit 26 500 francs. Aujourd'hui, je vais recevoir la clé
d'une villa.
Acte 4.
Chami Jacques, technicien en automobile.
C'est une grande joie immense qui m'anime en ce moment parce que avec 26 000 francs, que je ne croyais pas, je me retrouve propriétaire d'une villa.
Acte 5.
Moi, c'est Kamje, épouse Mangwa. La surprise a été très grande. Le Seigneur est merveilleux. Il m'a offert une maison.
Qui sera le prochain bénéficiaire? À la Masso, vivons simplement nos valeurs africaines.
Satisfaction, personal satisfaction, because the season is not easy. I have effective who are not mature, no experience, but I talk with them and then I learn them my politics, my vision of football, and then they understand, and then in the field they give it back. So I'm happy.
Being promoted from Young Sport, PWT, and to play now in one of the best teams.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you are just joining us, you are on to Reality.4FM, and signing in is Sports are Wednesday regular on the airwaves of Reality.4FM. Like I highlighted during my intro, today we are going to have a couple of things to talk, notably the Elite 1 and 2 Championship, the Guinness Women's Super League, and a whole lot of other things. In the studio here with me, I have Evans William Jobati. Hello, Evans.
Hello, Biwa Brian. Happy Youth Day. Hello to my co-panelists and equally to the listeners of Royal 88.4 FM.
Happy Youth Day. So you are a youth?
Of course, I'm a youth. Even though at times I usually believe that I'm older than my age.
What does that mean?
As you get it, older than my age.
And just beside Evans, I equally have with me here Jonas, who is probably making his debut on Royal FM. This is very good to have you here today, Jonas. Happy Youth Day.
Happy Youth Day, my dear Brian. It's a more than pleasure for me, as you said. It's my first time not to be at Royal FM, but to be in one of your studios, and I take the occasion to greet the general manager of this beautiful house, the man of God, Pastor Emmanuel Bissai, that you just mentioned while presenting the mutual assistance, MASO as we call it in French. And I also take the opportunity to greet my co-panelists. I hope this is going to be a marvelous journey.
Okay, yeah, we do hope it's going to be a marvelous journey. So we are going to go straight into the program so that they will not get caught up by time. Notably, we are still expecting other panelists. Hopefully, they join us here on time. I just got a report from them that they are being held by traffic. So get straight into it. But I know we did not initially preview this, but now today is Youth Day, and definitely youth have a role they play in sports. Do you agree?
Of course.
Now, we are looking at the youths. We are looking at sports. First of all, in your own opinion, just as you highlighted, youths have a great role they play in sports. To you, what exactly are some of these roles that youth play in our sports fair in Cameroon? We have about 54 different sports that are practiced in Cameroon.
Yes, Brian. So in Cameroon, most of times when we talk about sport, we directly talk about youths, because you see all those who engage in the various disciplines, as you said.
Majority of them
are youths, and we can say they play a very important role, because in our country, the best thing that sells our country abroad is sport.
Yeah.
I'm taking the case of football. You go to you go to other countries, you talk about Cameroon, some of them, as I've heard, they usually say, you pronounce Cameroon, they'll say, the country of this, the country of, so they know our country by sports. So we can say that sports, youth, they play a very great, important. They have a very a good important position that they play in the sport domain. Yes, as we can say. So, for me, talking about sports in Cameroon, we are talking about the youth. We are mostly talking about the youth.
Now, in I don't know if it's in perspective of today's day. Yesterday, the Federation held a meeting in Bankomo, where they announced the launching of an under-17 youth championship. Now, how important do you think that this youth football championship may be in Cameroon? Maybe to us in Cameroon.
The youth football championship is very important in Cameroon. So we have been asking for that for many years, and we hope that this time around the championship will, of course, really take place, because we saw that many times where the federation announced that this year we are going to launch the youth championship, and then by the end of the day we don't really see something. So for me, I don't know if it was related to the day of today, but it's an important thing, because we should all to have professional footballers, to have good football, because since we are talking about football, to have good footballers, we have to start by the, if I can say, by the little ones, because that's why you have to start by the foundation. If we don't have a foundation, we can't have a good football. So you see a team like Senegal today. I don't like that comparison, but let me say that if you see a team today like Senegal, you see the way they play, you see that there is something like there is a continuation when you see them. You see players are changing, the new ones are coming with the same style. So how do you think they get it? They get it in their when they are still at lower ages. So that's where they get it. So for me, having a youth tournament now is a very important thing. It's a very great thing for Cameroon, because we don't want that tomorrow when they will be they say, okay, we have under 17 World Cup. We're just going to go. We are just going to maybe, let's say, to Brasseries or to Kaji and whatsoever, all those big centers that where they used to train those children. So we and I think that this what they did, what the federation just launched yesterday, is going to be like a pot where when we need them, we just know that, okay, we have been controlling this child for this number of months, for this, and then we think that we can now call him based on this or on that, because if you don't have that, if you don't have a clear championship concerning our youth, we are just going to continue just gambling about who can we take, and then so most of the time we discover them only during international competition. We don't really know them as local. We don't know them locally. So that's what.
Now, Evans, I'll take you the same question. The under 17 elite youth championship, or whichever way they call it. Just like Jonas was highlighting, we've heard the federation talk about this a couple of times. The federation in their communication stated that it's in fulfillment of a promise the president made during his campaign. I believe he said this even during his first term, during his first mandate, but then it never really surfaced. I remember they launched it at the Municipal Annex 1 Stadium I attended, and then it ended with the launch. The season went through and finished. Nothing happened again anyway. They launched here in Yaoundé. The Southwest Pool equally launched theirs, and they both ended only with the launch, and that was it. Do you feel like this time around it is going to be serious? They are projecting about 54 academies.
Yes, I think it's going to be more promising this other term, because if you take note very well that the first term, or should I say the first mandate of Samuel Eto'o, was more focused on trying to rebuild the local championship. I mean, when I talk about the local championship, I'm talking about the Elite 1 and 2 first of all, to give it a name. That's where the focus was on, and mostly trying to bring some clubs to order. And I think he has succeeded in getting the achievement of some clubs, whereby you can see clubs like Canon actually having a youth division, equally clubs like Apejes, Eding, and all of those. So you see that to me, I think it's going to be more concrete this time around. It's true that before it was not the case, because there were some clubs that were still backfiring or struggling to contradict the image or the dream. But equally, I won't really blame them, because in the previous years the finances too are not also there. We had a championship that actually had to grow. It had to make a name for itself. The finances were limited, and equally, when you look at the stadiums where they were being launched, you would take a stadium like the the Annex Omispor Stadium. You know how Onies has been battling a long time ago with maintenance issues, trying to impose some of high sums of monies on the federation, and with the federation not having its own personal stadiums aside from those in Bankomo and in Oja, makes it too very difficult. You won't tell me that you will carry children from Yaoundé to Bankomo to and fro each time when there's a competition. You see that it becomes very, very complicated. But I believe this time around is more resolved and more structured, because if you followed the launch in Bankomo, you equally take note that the communication head, I'm talking about Jean-Marie Kosa, outlined how it is going to be done. He outlined how it's going to move. But whereas during the last time, during the launch, it was not actually structured this way. I mean, the structure was not made known, but this time around the structure has been revealed. It has been made known, and now everyone knows how it's going to function, and I believe it's going to be
Jonas,
something good.
Now I want us to look at the formatting of this championship. We'll look at it in two ways. Let's start with the first part. Now the federation highlights that it is going to be played in zones. It's going to be played in zones. That is to say, let me try to get those zones. The Northwest will constitute a zone with the West Sings
grass field.
Let me try to get them. So we have the zones as follows. We have the center, the south, the east. They are going to constitute one zone.
Yeah, one zone.
We have the littoral, the southwest,
one zone.
the west. Okay. Yes, yes, and the west and the northwest.
The west and the northwest, one zone. The southwest, the
Adamawa far north, and then the north.
Exactly.
Make one zone. Now, are you very comfortable with this? Would you not have wanted probably national something to ignite more competition? Because now this is almost adopting the format that they use in the Interpol, the competition that they use to promote teams into the Elite 2 Championship. Are you comfortable with these zones, or you feel like the national thing should have been preferable, where a club from an academy from this region will play an academy from this other region, and so on and so forth?
Yeah, Brian. We should always start somewhere, somehow. So talking about if I'm comfortable about the format, I can't give an impression now, but what I can say is that let us just start. And what we want this time around is that, as you said, previous years we had just launches. We hope that this year we are going to have.
It's not going to end with the launch.
No matter the format that they will take, our youths are going to play. In fact, we want them to play. So now in the upcoming years now, they are the ones now to say, okay, this time around we see that we can already see that we can test if they can play an entire national championship, as you said. And he just mentioned a while ago that Samuel Eto'o during his first month, so that is according to him, not according to me, was complaining about finances and whatsoever. So, but we are coming back on that. And also, so that's also another good point to support the zonal championship. You say, transport facilities and whatsoever. So for you to take a child, let me say child, because they are less than 70 years, 70 years old, each of them. So for you to take a child from, let me say, from Kuseri and bring the child right to
Yaoundé,
not even Yaoundé, Ebolova. Let's say like that. Bring it to Ebolova. So you see, it's a very long journey, and for me, they are not yet adapted to that kind of thing. So for me, it's good what the federation did is very good. We should start gradually somewhere, somehow. But this time around, what we hope is that we're not just going to have the launches, as you said.
Now, the next thing is that the structuring talks about academies.
Yeah.
The aim they communicated is that they are trying to do. They want that in the future they should be able to do better injections into the various levels of the national team. That is to say, from here they can be able to inject into the under 17 national team, to inject into the under 20, under 23, and then finally the senior national team.
Yeah.
What about the clubs? Elsewhere in other countries, there is a youth football league, mostly for clubs, where the youth team, the under 17 team of Colomb, they are playing in the like, it's just like the Elite 1 championship itself.
Yeah.
But this one now is played by the youth teams.
By the youth teams.
Equally aimed at strengthening the clubs, so that you can see. That's why you see clubs like Liverpool over the past years, clubs like Barcelona, they can be able to bring out players from the academies, register them into their main team, and then in the future they become very formidable players. So what about the clubs? Are they neglecting the clubs, putting the attention again only on the national team?
I don't know if your question is asking me whether the federation is neglecting the clubs or they.
I want to find out. But don't you feel like the clubs, the federation too, is not putting in effort to strengthen our club football as well? Must it always be all about the national team?
No, of course it can't only be about the national team, because we see the national team just for a year. I think if you feel like, if you see the competitions of the national team during calendar year, it's not frequent. Yes, but what I can say is that we can't talk of clubs now because first of all our senior clubs that we have, the elite one. I'm not sure all of them. I'm not sure all of them have what we call second teams, you know. So if youth teams, okay, thank you. So if we want to organize a championship now based on that, you see, okay, let's say Canon
has a youth team.
It has a youth team. You go to Cologne has a youth team. You go to PWD, of course, I think they should have a youth team.
Yes.
No.
And then what?
I don't know why people allow it.
Okay, that was just a parenthesis. And then if you go to other clubs, you see youth teams are not really there. So youth teams are not really there. Now,
now when you say youth teams are not there, it takes me back somewhere. Now, when this government came in for their first mandate, they brought in some
regulations.
Yes, some points that clubs must adhere to before they can play the championship.
Yeah.
One of them was that you must have a youth team.
Yeah.
So now they are telling clubs to have a youth team. Well, most clubs did not have this youth team. Probably someone will argue that they did not have the youth team because they did not see the need for the youth team because there is, first of all, no championship for these youth teams to engage in. So what is the use of having a youth team?
They even wanted to have the youth teams, but as you said, when they came in, they came with strong instructions and whatsoever. And they also said, you are going to, you will have subsidies and whatsoever, you'll be having your salaries. Now, the clubs are not paid. They are not subsidized. So the little effort that they can put for the senior team, do you think that will also be necessary for them to go and create another second problem? Because I don't want to talk that because that one will not be a youth team. It will be now a second problem. So for me, talking about that. For me, I'm not blaming the clubs on having youth teams. You know, I'm not blaming the clubs on having youth teams because many of them are complaining about salaries. They said that if you want to have your salary, bring justifications. Many of them brought justification. We were just shocked by what Column
published the other day.
We were just shocked. We couldn't imagine that's what they are facing. So you see that it is very complicated. So for me, the federation, they should start as they are starting. Knowing that with academics, it's very simple. You know, with those academics, they are the ones sponsoring. They are the ones taking care of their children, of their pupils, if I can call them like that.
Before I come at you now, Evans, over the past years, our youth football or our junior teams, notably the under 17, under 20, and under 20, have been fueled by players from private academies. Angel Yonjo.
Yes, you can
private academy. There are a lot of them.
Yes,
but that's one of the most prominent. All these guys came from private academy. You have just a few of them always leave the National Football Academy and are and are in the under 17 team and so on. So if I want to start talking about a lot of them, Masasi Kong, Arnold, where will you even start? Frank Mafani and all the likes. They come from the private academies. Yes. Now the federation in coming in now to say, and now one of the things that analysts have always argued is that the reason why, for instance, our under 17 team, under 20 would always go to UNIFAC and will come out as the best. But once we qualify for the African Cup of Nations, 0. And analysts will always argue that it is because we do not have any competitive championship where these academies or where these players play. So those competitions are almost like the most competitive competitions they have ever played.
Exactly.
The only competition they always play are probably the Easter Cup that is organized by an individual or by private individuals. And other friendly games they play amongst themselves, academies. They just play, this kind of entertaining football. You pass, I pass, you pass, I pass, you pass, I pass. Nothing about competition because, competition football has its own way. You play to win.
No greater stake, in fact.
Exactly. So most of these academy players, they don't play games that have those stakes. They are not used to that. So people used to argue that the reasons why we used to falter in international competition is because we do not have a championship. So do you think that the federation introducing this is going to come up as a solution to that problem?
I think that is even the reason why they are bringing up this idea of youth championship, because you will, as you earlier said, you will see in the previous editions of the under 17, under 20, under 19, you will see that we will always perform very well in the UNIFAC tournament, but when we move out there, like in the last edition, you will see that will fall in the group stages, whereas we came up first. We beat almost everyone. We crushed everyone in Unifac during the Unifac tournament. Why? Because exactly, we have it's not as if we have poorly brought up players or we don't have good players. We have good players, but now the thing is that the competitiveness is not there because they don't have a championship whereby they can actually play against themselves. It's not because someone is very performant in Brazzaville, that's why you think that maybe the club he's the best in Cameroon. No, you need to have all of this championship for the selection. Just like in the male, in the senior national team, when you want to be selected for a national team, you need to move to select the best in every club, and that is how it comes now to form a national team. And maybe you permit me responding to the part of the if the focus is all on the national team, I will tell you yes. Why? Because the national team, especially on the younger division, has actually had a lot of difficulties. Now it's normal that we should focus on the national team because the national team is the first remedy. The Fecafoot, first of all, his first mission is to select the best national teams. Club football comes later. No, it always comes later. Wait, let me explain to you. Once you resolve the issue of the national team and the youth department, then you move over to the club level, whereby because once you perform well in the national team, that it opens you doors for other clubs, and that's why you see that we'll have an Andre Yonjo that performs very well in the national team, and he's signed up by other this team because the national team is the visibility. It's true the clubs are there too, the visibility, but the national team is the main visibility because when they want to ask you that, okay, this player plays for maybe, for instance, permit me if I can talk, maybe like for Canon or for Eding. Okay, what is his country? Does he play for a national team? That would be the next question. Has he ever participated in any national team? Those are one of the criteria. If not, then you will see that he will move over there and maybe sign a nationality out there. But whereas if it's that he played already for maybe an under 17, it is now very easy for us to have that follow up. The follow up is there. You understand? So that's why I say the main concentration for now should be the national team. Then from there now, we will now go on to focus on the clubs because the national team is the base, then the clubs is the higher level.
Jonas, I don't know whether you are d'accord with what Evans is saying. So can't we consider the club football as a route of the national team as well? Let's go to South Africa. Now if you go to South Africa, 80% of the national team, are players who are picked from their championship. That is from their clubs. That is to say, they have invested so much in strengthening their local championship because they know that is one of the routes that injects into their national team. Look at the last African Cup of Nations. You saw how far it went with players that came from the same championship. So I don't know whether you are d'accord, Evans. Now, don't you feel like both the academies and the championship equally inject? Because if tomorrow we have a stronger championship, we can get more competitive players who can come into our national team. Recall that in the past we've called players into the national team and from our elite championship, and it has ended. They were unable to use them. Chino John Bosco, Emmanuel Mahop, Swaibu Maru. I don't even want to start prolonging the list.
So what?
Branche ta joie avec MTN. Internet à vie à gagner. Tape étoile 237 dièse pour acheter un forfait NEN ou étoile 126 dièse pour faire un momo.
Yes, so my question to you is our championship not equally that important? If not, is it not more important than strengthening academy football?
Well, for me, what Evans just said is like, how can I even say? It's like you are building a house. Yes, let's consider that the national team is the roof, and then you don't consider the walls because you just want to go and you say you just want to go and do. Let me do the foundation, as we call the academies. Let me do the foundation, and then after the foundation, I just keep directly. I go to the roof. What about the walls? So our championship, as you said, can't be put aside. It can never be put aside. I'm not happy. I'm not okay with that. With what he said, because you just mentioned something very important. If you look at South African teams, you look at Mamelodi Sundowns, you look at all of them. Look at their goalkeeper.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper.
Yes.
Goalkeeper. He was the best goalkeeper of the last edition. Where is he coming from?
Mamelodi Sundowns.
Okay, so did you see him playing abroad or whatsoever? He's coming from Mamelodi Sundowns. So the championship is there for us to have good local players. The academic is there for a purpose. We are there to control them. We are there to inject them in under 17, under 20s, or whatsoever. But our main focus, I want to say, the ones on which we have to rely more now is the one concerned is the ones playing in our local championship. For me, when this executive came to power, they had as main importance entire football. It was not like we're just coming from the national team from whatsoever. We should lay more emphasis on the national team, which I just said that will not even play up to 20 matches in a calendar year, in a civil calendar year. How can you say that? No, let us put our effort on them. And then what is supposed to feed us? What is supposed to show to the world that no, we have a competitive tournament in Cameroon? You talk about visibility. Talking about visibility is like when it comes to visibility in sport or in football or whatsoever, it doesn't depend only on the main actors. There are several ways to make the Cameroon our country's championship very popular. There are several ways to make our players known. If you go to countries like Ivory Coast, their local championship, you see it on international channels. When you come to Cameroon, our local championship, for you to be even aware that there is a match, if of course you're not a journalist like you, if you are not really interested in what is going on there, you will not even know that they are waiting preparing for the fifth day. You don't even know that. So for me, I think that we should put emphasis on this local championship that is almost dying. That is even that in the past 4 years, I think there were a lot of if I can say a lot of many quacks that happened there. That this time around, I think you will sit down and then solve it. We can't put them aside. It does not make sense. I am okay with the fact that we are bringing now young academics. I'm okay with that. I'm not also okay with the fact that no, let us focus more on the national team. We can't just focus more on the national team. What is lacking in the national team, if not just to win? Because for a national team, first of all, to travel, they are subsidized. For a national team to partake in a particular tournament, they are subsidized also by international federations or whatsoever. Now, what about our local people? We have to think about them. So that's why I can say concerning that.
Evans, you have something else to add?
One thing I wanted to make clear here is that I did not say we are forgetting about the local championship. First of all, when we're talking about this youth division, the first thing is that we have to take note is that before you get into a national team, you need to perform very well at the club level. And bringing a youth championship, I'm not saying that we should actually forget or focus only on them, but I'm just making my point to understand that the national team is the goal. That is the number one goal, because you won't tell me that today we want at all costs a youth championship. Why is it that in the yesteryears we do not have such calls? Like, for instance, or let us forget about Eto's mandate. Let me talk about maybe the mandate of Seydou Bomonjoya, the mandate of Issa Hayatou, and all whatnot. Why do we not glamour for that? Whereas an under 17 championship, under 17 and youth championship were ongoing in other countries. For instance, South Africa. Am I correct? South Africa was already had their own youth championship by then. You understand? So it's just to make you understand that I accept that the foundation is the youth championship, but we should know that the goal is the national team, because so far as we don't have a good, a good national team at the level where everyone will see us, no one will be attracted to come to our local championship. He quite rightly mentioned it. We don't have, the media men are the only ones that know if there's a fit or foot or seat day that is going on in Cameroon. That is true. But you should equally take note that the publicity, the visibility over this particular championship depends on the partnership signed with the the federations. To me, if you ask me, the national station, that is, I don't want to mention the national station, be the CRTV, Cameroon Tribune, and so on, all of them, it is their duty to broadcast on rebroadcast our local championship. It is their duty, be it that they are in a partnership or not. That is their duty, because they have to do what has to do with the growth of the nation. So that is my own opinion to that part. But now we should equally note that building a strong national team will not only attract a lot of eyes, because it is only during these particular important competitions that you have millions of scouts, millions of television channels, millions of viewers from other countries that come to look and follow up some players. And if they follow up some players that are performing well at the national selection, it will divert them now to the various clubs to meet with the managers, and then now they want to have more insight on the championship. And if our championship is equally well structured, which is not the case, we should equally take note that our championship structure is still developing. I don't know why people always say that we are a professional league. To me, we are an amateur league. That is the truth. It may pain many people, but we are an amateur league, and to be able to be professional, we need to adapt to some terms. It's not all clubs that have adapted to that. I mean, to having the criteria of CAF. That's even where it all started, because CAF at one point in time said that before you participate, be it in the Confederations Cup or in the Champions League, African Champions League, you need to have a youth division, a female division. I don't know if I'm wrong. From there, that is where now all problems started. That's why you saw Bambutos of Buddha at one point in time did not go for the Confederations Cup, because they did not appeal to all the criteria. They did not have a female division, they did not have a youth champion, they did not pay the various criteria. That means they don't fulfill all of these criteria. So you see that bringing up this idea now is like a way of putting pressure on the various Elite 1 and 2 clubs, top tier clubs, to have a youth facility. And now they will know that if we have a youth facility, it will equally boost us. It's another booster for ourselves. It not only sells the image of the club, not only sells the image of Cameroon, but equally the image of the national team, because we will have players that can be traceable, to be tractability. Players that when we go there, they will not only perform at the national level, but equally against other countries that are stronger than us. You know how many times the COSAFA play a competition? It's not the Unifac tournament that is being played in 1 week. COSAFA can play for close to a month before they qualify. But us, within 1 week, 3 days, 4 days. Exactly. That's why I say the structure of the championship equally matters. I'm not refusing that. I'm not saying that we should sideline them. But the main goal is the national team. Once the national team is structured, now the championship, and that's where we are heading to, because we have noticed that the national team is already on good footing. Now we are struggling now to structure the championship that will come as a backup to be able to push now the national teams for more glories. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I think we are going to move out of there and to do something else. We talk a little bit about futsal, and then we'll get into the Elite Championship. We are transiting into March Day 5 now. Evans, 19 goals to 1 on aggregate in the qualifiers against Angola.
Brian, aside from being funny, it's more of a mockery for Cameroon's division, because you won't tell me that we are actually going to a competition whereby it is not a 11-man football that is going to be played, but rather a 6 or 4 or 5, and it's not played on a turf, green turf. You go with players that play and used to green turf, players that play mostly 11-man football, players that know tactics, to go where more of styles are being required. In fact, let me start from the beginning. In Cameroon, we have had champions when it comes to freestyles. We have had champions when it comes to infield. I don't know if that's how they call it, infield or something, football. That is futsal. We have had a lot of them. Why don't we take those people and actually bring them up? Or why don't we, as we have created an under-17 championship, equally create a futsal championship? Why do we want to force some domains, some people to adapt to some domains. It's true that with the ladies of recent it worked, but with the men it's a different situation. If Sudan would have not have backed out during the first round, would have been eliminated from the first round, from the word go. Because Angola, how are Angolas to develop? Angola, first of all, they have when it has to come goes with in-game, they are well structured. They have freestylers, they have futsalers, and equally, they are made up of 3 countries. Aside from being Angolas, they're equally Portuguese there, they're equally Brazilians. And these 2 countries, bear with me, they know what it means to play skills football. I mean, the Brazilians alone, they know skills football. Angola, Portuguese, they know skill football. So you won't tell me that to me, I do not hope for any victory from Cameroon. It was just the score that at a point in time shocked me. But I was rather not shocked.
I don't know if you followed the futsal.
Of course, Brian.
Yes.
Brian, the day they were playing it at
the multipurpose
court, I wanted to go there that day, but thank God I didn't. Thank God I didn't. But sincerely, I don't know why for you it's a mockery. I don't know why for you it's a shock. Because it could feel like a mockery for me if I was expecting something great from that team. Oh. So it could be a shock for me if I was really expecting something great from them. So why do you? How can you even imagine that? We don't have something called futsal in Cameroon. First of all, the gambling that we did with the girls in Morocco, I think was it last year? Yes, I think
it was last year.
The gambling that we did with the girls in Morocco, that even God, because it was not God's intervention. Finally, we did something with the same coach, René Epe. So on my own opinion, that coach René Epe, after winning that gold medal with the girls, yes, I'm sure months before. Or I don't even know. Meanwhile, he was still there, coming back from Morocco. He would have said to the federation that please, this situation is a very important situation.
Exactly.
Yes, because it was our first competition concerning about women futsal. We don't know if in the upcoming years we are going to have another one. Please let us try to look for how we are going to put in place another championship. Brian, you don't have a championship and you're like you want to go and you just want to go and say that okay, you'll be picking players left and right and what. So I wanted to go there because I have a brother that he played in second division. I don't want to mention the name of the club here because they might know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So I want to keep it silent. So by because I don't want him to fall in this disgrace if I can see it like that.
But so he's inside.
Yeah, but he's inside. He's inside. So for me, I was not really surprised. But the thing is that we should just sit down and then avoid avoid taking things spontaneously. Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
Now the big question is must we participate in everything? Because I've always asked this thing, even with all the 54 federations. I'm sure now they have expanded to something like 56 federations. Must we participate in everything when we do not have the capacity to be competitive in all of these things?
I was even coming to that. That CAF do even the person in charge of futsal. What even takes the person to say that okay, let Cameroon play futsal? Meanwhile, you're not even controlling if there is a championship concerning football.
Exactly.
That's one. And secondly, are we even obliged to partake in all what those people are doing? Because we are wasting money like that. See. After conceding 12 goals here in their homeland, they went to a foreign country to go and take.
At least we score one.
At least we score one. Yes, we scored one. At least we can say that. At least we can even say that based on the two games. The first game they learned something. Now in the second game, first of all they conceded less and then they put one goal. So now I even say that if there's a possibility for
it's showing that if they can keep playing, they will definitely learn more things.
Yes, if there's a possibility for a third leg, I think the score will not be.
You don't play a championship. You don't play friendly games with those in the domain, and you expect to.
I was not surprised.
How? It was not a shock to me.
And that
it's just the score that shocked me.
And that coach, Louis René and whatsoever, I don't know why did he even. Is he the only person that we can take as coach concerning that?
Now I saw some clips of the match. I saw her. Those Angola very young
Exactly.
Young
They were
players.
training.
It is their
They were
domain.
training.
It is their domain. The Angolans, this is their domain. They are made up, as I said, they are made of Brazilians that are very skilled in football and in-game football. They are made up of how can I call Portuguese that are equally there. So how do you want to go to face a country that has other experience? They know their thing. It is their thing. It's like handball. It's their thing.
Do you suggest what are you suggesting? We take a break from participating in the. You highlighted a good point, anyways.
Yeah.
The criteria the Confederation uses in selecting participating nations. Now, don't you think that people are just carrying our past glory we had in something else? Because probably they may be inviting Cameroon there because Cameroon stands as a big nation when you want to talk about football. Even though football and futsal may have similarities,
but
it's not the same. It's not the same thing.
Futsal is skills. It's not the same. It's
thing.
not running left and right.
Skills. You just saw what happened with the girls during when they entered the field of the competition at the last African Cup of Nations.
They were trash.
You were seeing how they were just kicking balls. They were trying to make long ranges, long passes. Trying that we are in a football field, whereas it does not go like that. It does not go like that. You see,
you have to control.
You have to control just the playing ground is different from what you see. Futsal is not football. It's not because we're talking about football, but it is not football. It is a different. It's a total different discipline on its own. You can't say that. You can't say that. Okay, I'm a boxer. Let's think about I do
MMA.
Yes, MMA. I do it, and then now you want to go and do English boxing or whatsoever. Of course, it is fighting, right?
Yeah.
But it's not the same
different
thing.
types of fighting, different rules.
Even had Francis Ngannou that tried that, and
you saw. I even asked myself. I asked myself at one point that these players that we are taking to go and play futsal, do they even know the rules? Do they know the rules? Because can you imagine that you are playing football and then whatsoever because since you don't have a big name in football, you say okay because that my man that I told you, he has been playing football in this country for several years. So just say that okay, you are a good midfielder. We think that you can come and integrate it. They just go there and then you begin to play. I'll even tell you something. There was another one I think 2 years or 1.5 years ago. That was played in Ivory Coast. Cameroon was there. I have my friend, a very good friend of mine in the quarter. He went there. He went to Ivory Coast. But when I asked him, so on what were they based when they were selecting you? So do you mean that you were playing futsal already? You were in professional club? Because I was surprised. And you know, hey, so there's even futsal in Cameroon. I was surprised that like he told me that no, he was playing that there is a hall there at Omnisport where they used to play and whatsoever. They used to play on Sundays. He said that they were playing there on Sundays with elderly people as they used to play. They used to call what they said 0-0. You see, they were playing there. And then someone just told him that okay, Petit, come here. There is a competition on futsal. We are going to go to Ivory Coast and whatsoever. I will give you boots. Then you are going to make you a passport. They give you a visa and then you go. That's why it happened. Can you imagine?
Guys,
that was the first.
Guys from the quarter.
Yeah, guys from the quarter. That was not even a professional football. He just know how to play quarter football. They called him. That was the first time. Second time we saw it with the girl, and then we tried to imagine that okay, the girls at least they did something. Third time now with the boys, they are still doing the same thing. For me, as you said, for me, that futsal for Cameroon, concerning in the international level, we should first of all forget about it. If you want futsal, if you want to have futsal players, we should first of all forget about it and then create a championship, create favorable conditions for futsal here in Cameroon. You can't go and play a tournament that you don't have in your country. It doesn't make sense.
Against a country that has probably a championship in futsal.
Just look at the way
champions.
Just look at the
champions.
Just look at the way they were playing. They were training. They were not even playing.
It's not.
And the head coach of Angola highlighted that tactically we. In French, I always like the way they say it in French. Tactiquement, nul. I always like the way they say. So we move out on there straight without any transition. The Elite One Championship is on. We are transiting to match day 5 this weekend. The federation has already put out the matches to be played this weekend. I'm going to go ahead and read the fixtures. Those games are going to be played on Sunday and Monday. So on Sunday we have Horaires Sportifs will play Aigle of Mongo here in Yaoundé at the military stadium, Stade Militaire. Cotton Sports are going back home to face the Fireboys of Feu-Fazou, and then Gazelle will play Ice Fortune on Fou at the Rumdiaja Stadium. In Bamenda, PWD will host Horaires Sportifs. Stade Renat will play host to Dynamo of Douala in Melon. Victoria United will host Aigle of Meno, and then on Monday, Horaires Sportifs of Yaoundé will go for Unisport of Bafang. Let me just ask you a freestyle question just to get into it. I don't know, are there some things that have been interesting to you so far? 4 match days in the Elite One Championship.
Some things that have interested to me so far, as I say, we're just at the beginning. So let us. But from what I've been hearing, from what we have been hearing, all of us concerning the beginning of this tournament, is at times like it's really funny. You saw what happened with Bambutos the other time when they were playing during the first day. You saw what happened with them. You come to clubs here in Yaoundé, a club like Kano. I don't know what they will a match. They said, okay, let us play our match in the Annex 1 stadium. They said, no, let us go to the big stadium. You go to a big stadium, you reach a stadium, the stadium is empty. You see, they say the stadium is empty. And then talking about our local champions who are crying that they don't have money. So there are a lot of things, but we are used to that. We are used to that. I've even met some people on the way who told me that if you're talking about Cameroon and you want if you want to laugh, if you want to let me say something humorous about Cameroon, just look about the local championship. And I think at the point in time, I think that man was right. Even though I didn't like when he said it, but I think he was right. So far, I just want to congratulate teams like Gazelle of Douala, who is doing a great job. Gazelle of Douala, we are seeing how they are improving. In fact, there is a very good continuity in that club. They are very silent. They don't talk much, but they do a great job. So for the rest, we are just waiting to see how things are going to come. So for me, the matches of the week are also good matches. We see somebody like Opopo. Opopo is going to Opopo is playing against Aigle of Menoir and is going to receive. Hoping that this time around we are not going to have like 3 penalties and whatsoever what's going on there. But I don't want to mention that. I just want to see football on Sunday and Monday.
Evans?
Yes, Brian, the championship has just begun as the champion has just begun as I highlighted some days back, or should I say last week. It has just begun. We have had a lot of ups and downs, and we already are getting into the 5th day. Getting into this particular day, I think everything is just working out perfect for a club like Dynamo and maybe Panther, and equally PWD that came down from a defeat to win their 4 straight games. So I think PWD is the club in form, even though they are still a little bit down. But I equally appreciate Gazelle, because Gazelle have done the unthinkable. Panther that were first flying high at one point in time, people thought that Panther was untouchable. Gazelle had to actually draw with them despite everything, all the things that I've been doing. But we have actually seen a new face on Panther as compared to the face of Panther that we had to see before they were relegated. I mean, the new managing staff under Yves Clément Aroga has been doing some marvelous work with Panther. It's like after winning the Cameroon Cup of some days back or some months back, actually brought that booster for Panther. So I think Panther is up and strong. Same too with PWD, equally Dynamo that are equally there. But I equally foresee a Horaires Sportifs of Jalobo equally waking up during this 5th day.
Okay, the championship, Jonas, we saw the outing of Colombe. I mean, I believe we all watched Colombe during the preliminary stages of the CAF Champions League. And the comments I was getting in the stands each time I went to watch Colombe was that when Cologne will go and come back, they will finish everybody in the championship. But life is not turning out that way for Cologne. Apparently, they are finding it very hard to cope. I think that so far they've only gotten 1 win and 2 draws. Well, it's not bad results necessarily, but for a team like, anyways, let me not say it's not bad. for a team like Cologne, with all what people were expecting, I mean, the way they played MCL Jazz and then that team from Senegal, Giraffe,
yeah.
You expect them to be where they are currently?
Sincerely speaking, I didn't. I did not expect them to be where they are currently. But you know, in football, they have been in their best form for, I think, for 2 or 3 years.
2 years.
2 years. So
it's difficult to keep that consistency.
It's difficult to keep that consistency.
With players moving out.
Yes, with players, as Evans just said, players are going out and whatsoever, and they don't also know what is happening internally. And naturally, in football, also there are years you always have glorious years, and then there are years that, of course, you will, how can I say, you will gradually come down. But looking at the different position, at their current position now.
Currently 9th.
Okay, they are 9. I was about to say even 10. So let me not bring them. But
they are
at the 10th position.
They are not different. They are not very different from the person who is 10 because they both have 4 points.
Okay, so I don't want to bring them there. So for me, I think they will. I know it's a great club. They will finally come.
But do you think they're feeling the blisters of the expenditures they made? Because somebody told me that now if you study Cameroonian clubs in the past few years, the clubs that went to represent Cameroon at the CAF Champions League, what usually happens is that, and somebody quoted that's also one of the reasons why Horaires Sportifs is finding it hard now. When you go for the CAF Champions League and then you don't make it to the group stage, because it's only when you qualify for the group stage that you can say they will give you money that you will say no, you have made returns on your investment. When you don't reach the group stage, it becomes
not only
very difficult. Look at PWD when I came back and fell. Horaires Sportifs did it, I think, like 2 times, came back and it was not easy.
Victoria United
now, like it's not easy. Even Victoria United, thank you very much. Victoria United too. Now, particularly for Cologne, you see the expenditures Cologne made. It was clear. They bought players, Musa Adams from Ghana. They had big players, some of the big profiles. They bought Ako from PWD. They bought Lima from Young Sport Academy.
Traveling in aeroplanes.
Jude Eno Uke was coming back from Grassroot, that place in Nigeria. They brought a lot of players, and in addition to that, they had other high-profile players like Ino Liomba. Those are high-profile players that their salary is not like the regular salaries of those you have here. Most importantly, they brought Tawamba. All those expenditures, and then now you have seen it. They have come out to cry. They have not given us our Cameroon Cup money. They have not given us our. You think that they are crying because now finally they have probably started feeling the pinch, the pain of all those expenses.
Of course, I think they are starting feeling as you said, the pinch of those expenditures, because you can't expend if nothing comes in. We were sure that in Cameroon, Cologne was the club that we can say was financially stable.
Yeah.
Of course, with the big players.
That's what they were showing us.
Yes, that's what they were showing us. Of course, with the big players that they called.
Mm-hmm.
You can't call a player. You can't call players like them. I don't pay them at the end of the month. It doesn't make sense. You must,
especially during that kind of competition, you need to motivate these guys.
You need to motivate them. Yes.
Yeah.
You must play them. But we were surprised that a club like Cologne. I mean, what would be the interest to be first? When I have been first, I won the tournament. I did not receive money. So I've just played to go. To take the trophy and go.
Unfortunately, you know, yeah. I know I'd asked this question severally. What is the benefit? Like, why would a club really be fighting to go and win the championship when you win at the end of the day, no returns on investment? Because definitely you spend a lot of. Now, if you look at Cologne is one of the few teams. Let me try to give you the regime of how Cologne functions on match days. Colombia is one of those teams that if perhaps they are playing in Bamenda tomorrow, they will not reach Bamenda but tomorrow morning, like some other teams will do. They'll probably reach today morning and train there, sleep there before going to the field
next day.
But some teams will go to the town that's supposed to play on that same day and play that same day and go back that same day. Colombia doesn't function that way. Colombia, they take breakfast in the morning. I don't know if Cotton Sport does that one. But I know that majority of the teams in Canada don't do that thing. Breakfast in the morning. And then before they go to the match, they take lunch. Or they call it supper. No, supper is that one in the night. They take lunch before they go to the match. Other teams, they just do for you and tie hard.
And during halftime, they have things like fruits on their tables in the locker rooms and whatsoever. So
exactly. The hotels, the lodge is not any kind of hotel. And just see recently they had to take a flight to Garoua.
After crying.
True and fro. So now I was asking a big question. Is this team not interested in returns on investment? Because now when you look at the team that is interested in returns on investment, you take an example like Gazelle. Gazelle will bring the young players, they'll play the championship, and at the end of the season, they are sure of selling somebody. For instance, Serge Dura is rumored to sign with, is it Al Ahly, the big club in Africa here. If that deal goes on, they will be smiling. But now, you ask the big question, Colombia, majority of the players they have, you look at the age range.
Limit.
There are players that Europe are not very marketable. Look at even Ino Leomba that went to Simba. Simba took him just 1 year.
1 year.
And he's a very talented player, but clubs are thinking, you take this guy who is in his late 20s, early 30s, the possibility for him to remain consistent for 2-3 years is very
high. It's very low.
So I was asking I had always asked the question. Now, don't you also fault them? Because when you get somewhere, you need to find out how things are happening here. You don't just go and
yeah, it's true. It was their first season. I mean, their first participation at the CAF Champions League, which unfortunately did not work out as planned. But aside from faulting Colombia, but you equally take note that Colombia saw that at least, even if the worst came to the worst, they would at least have qualified for the preliminary. Qualified cross pass the group stage. That is where they could at least earn 1 or 2 some money, as what Coton did some years back. But now the only issue is that we know how it functions in Cameroon. At times your money is there, but even the club president himself, they take the money and they sit on it. That should equally be told. And at times too, it is because they want that maybe like they are eyeing the. And it's because at times too they are eyeing the future.
Let's visit the dashboard.
Avec Orange, c'est 50 voyages tout frais payés pour le Maroc à gagner. Pour en profiter, souscris à Orange Bonus au dièse, 111 étoile 1 dièse ou via l'application Max Eat. Orange est là.
So as I was saying, at times clubs, it is difficult for a club like Colombia to actually see the future. And I believe the only focus that they had was the CAF Champions League. That's why you see that they sign big names in Cameroon football. Like so it's true they had some youngster. We had Juma. We had equally this guy from Victoria United, Jude Eno. We equally had the
Lima from Youngsport Academy.
Exactly. So you see, they wanted to maximize victories on their part, forgetting to know that in Cameroon it is at times difficult to have.
Now look at the attitude of most Cameroonian clubs. Now they tend to play the championship and win the championship with a certain group of players when they eventually qualify for the CAF Champions. Now I'm not trying to say it's a bad thing. They go extra mile to do heavy recruitment.
Exactly, that's why I was saying
just to go and play competition.
That's why I was saying that, because they are looking at the prize money when you qualify for the group stage. The prize money for the group stage at least.
So what if you don't qualify? How do you recover all that money now?
That's what we're trying to say. That it is bad timing and is a wrong way of calculating, because normally you are supposed to focus first of all on the money that you have in your pocket. If it's that you don't have maybe like 4 million for a particular to prepare for a particular competition, you won't tell me that you go and waste close to 50 million, and then at the end you will not even have 10 million that you can call your own. So all those settles boils down to the fact that Colomb at one point they were faulty, but equally you wouldn't equally blame them at a certain level because they needed enough players, I mean well experienced players, to win some competitions. You won't say, you know how our championship is structured at a certain moment in time. It is poorly structured in the sense whereby the time that the championship is being played is the time that these competitions are off. And now the time that it should be the championship should be played, that's when players are resting. So at one point you not equally blame them because they needed fresh legs to be able to push their club forward for victory. They need to maintain that shape, the shape of victories. And it's true that should they have not had they been in your stadium, they would have qualified. So that's why I'm saying that at a certain to a certain extent, you will not equally blame them because they saw that they could make it, they could cross that the preliminary round and move over to the group stage, and now to have that returns and will not be asking for subsidies, because I think Colomb is one of those clubs that we have rarely had. I mean, the last season.
Let's so it just
yes no go on.
So Ivan said something very important that they just think about the prize money. You know, football is not just about playing. Mm-hmm. There's a part in football that they call management. Mm-hmm. If you don't know how to manage, if you don't have someone that will be there to think about all those things, that if you don't have it, how we are going to do, if you need fresh legs, no one will sit there and think about the risk. They'll just think about, okay, if you reach this level, we are going to have this amount of billions or millions in terms of franc CFA. Okay, what do we need? Okay, let us just call someone like Tawamba, who scores goals a lot of goals in
Saudi Arabia.
In Saudi Arabia, let's call fresh leg. Let's also call Jude Eno, of which they didn't even use. They do not use him. They do not use the Jude Eno. So there are a lot of things, and I'm coming back to the fact that we were asking that why are they down on the table today? Is it a traditional curse that when you go out in Africa concerning Cameroon football, when you come back, it's always difficult for you to stand up. So, Brian, I ask you an important question. For me, important question: what is the gain for you to go and play a tournament, to be first in that tournament? You win the tournament, you don't receive. They played Cameroon Cup, they played the Cameroon Super Cup. All those three trophies that they won. Even 1 franc they didn't receive. We were shocked hearing it. So you think all those things, it is working. Colombia functioning, they are functioning according to elites. So you even say that there's nothing like financial gestion management in what they are doing. They are functioning with elites, and I'm sure that they came out with that with that press conference. Let's say with that conference, because they were already feeling the pressure. Yeah. Because people know that, okay, you guys are winning, you guys are going out of Africa. So now what are we gaining now? You have a stadium, you are selling tickets and whatsoever. The president now was obliged to come and say, this thing that you're seeing, I'm not getting anything inside. They said they sold tickets for like I don't know, they rented stadiums for like 15 or 18 millions, but they hardly had 10 millions. So you see, there's a problem of management. I don't know that our football you are seeing it's not just to go and play and whatsoever. There should be people that are working at behind the crew. The people should be working behind the crew. So there's a problem of management there. Now if they are coming, if they came with that to justify their poor, I can't say it's a poor performance. We are just beginning the tournament. They can also bounce back. They can also bounce back.
So somehow you feel like it's because the start of the season has not been going well. So
yes, let's say like you see the morning, we know we are still waking up, but we hope that
now
not gradually.
Evans, we are calling on match day 4. Mm-hmm. Match day 4 has played. We are calling on match day 5 is yet to play. Yes. The championship is 26 games. According to the calendar, the first round should end next month. And people still keep saying that it is early. There's still time. Do you think there's necessarily still time? It's a total of 26 games. The first round should be 13 games.
That's why I said that
4 games have already gone.
4 games are gone. Then now the 4 minus the remaining 13. You see that we are at a certain level called 11 games still left. So it's as from March the 10th that we should actually be worrying that okay, now that we are finished we are close to the end of the first leg. How will the second leg look like? Why are these clubs still down? But in Europe, bear with me. In Europe, it is right up to the end. We still see clubs that are the dying. I mean, one match day to the end, you see them rising and then even winning the championship. So you see that everything is still possible, because if you look at the differences in points, it's not that big as per se, because the number 14 on the table is just some 2 or 3 points away from becoming number 9. We saw that with PWD of Bamenda lost during the first game. They were ranked, I think it was they
were last after
they were last, exactly. So the next game whereby they had to win, you saw that it propelled them right up to the 9 spot. From there they started winning, and then now they have entered top 5. So you see that it is very easy and very simple. Top two rather, sorry. Top 2, it's very easy. It's very easy. Why? Because we have the number of teams that are there are not much. We have a total of 14 teams, and
let's get a breather from the dashboard. We would continue from there.
I think it is a fair group, given that Cameroon has played with Côte d'Ivoire 5 times and have won 3, Côte d'Ivoire winning 2. I think the historicity between these two countries is what many Cameroons are going to be seeing.
It's going to be a regional derby. It's always going to be a hotly contested game. We all know the tussle for supremacy in this sub-region. Gabon, just like Equatorial Guinea, Central Africa, Congo, they want to always prove that they have come of age, they have made progress, and they can show that they are better than Cameroon.
Le continent contre la Côte d'Ivoire, the Elephants against the indomitable Lions. Everyone is looking forward to that exciting fixture. The group has been drawn, and to me it's very fair. So it's going to be a battle between Coach Marc Brice of Cameroon, Coach MS Faye of Ivory Coast, Coach Chiquino Konde of Mozambique, and then Coach Thierry Uyuma of Gabon.
Join the sports desk of Royal FM for Sports Hour. Sports Hour is a sports program in English in which we give you a full dose of sports news, interviews, commentaries, reports in Cameroon, Africa, and the world. Sports Hour is here to start on Royal FM 88.4 stereo.
So Evans, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are still on Sports. We have a couple of minutes to the end of the program. Just about 14 minutes or thereabout.
Yes,
Evans. So Jonas was raising. He raised a point here. He said he's wondering why. He's wondering why a team will only be choking skin. A team will only be pushing forth to finish first in the championship when it will not pay. I think Colomb is not the only team that has cried.
No, it's not only Colomb.
Of not getting their pay.
And
Udong Sports From the last I can remember, I have not received a
You should equally take note that.
But now, do you think that this equally is discouraging competitiveness in the league?
Nothing that is not the first time, because even before the new president had to take power, we equally had this situation.
No, it's not. I don't think
No,
it's an issue of comparing.
I'm not comparing.
presidencies.
I'm not comparing. I am drawing references. The fact is that it is not the first time that this has occurred in Cameroon.
Yes, we've established
under different mandates. We have had same issues.
That's what I'm telling you.
I want to start from the root. Wait, no, I'm not comparing. You are not understanding me. Let me learn. Let me finish.
Okay.
Under different mandates, we have had the same issue. Okay. That means from the last from I don't want to call names, but under different mandates we have had the same issue coming over and over again. At one point in time we even lack a championship. That means players boycotted the championship because of this same issue. Wait, I am landing. I am not comparing. I'm still saying it. I'm not comparing. I am trying to make listeners understand that it's not the first time, and since it's not the first time, since it's not the first time, then the team should know how they manage, because Jonas spoke about management here. Since it's not the first time that is happening,
my question was that
let me learn. Brian, you asked me a question when I want to respond.
No, the problem is you are going somewhere I don't deem necessary.
I am not going somewhere. I am beginning from the beginning, then struggling out to learn. And the learning point is that since players are over like forcing that they want to win a championship whereby they will not be paid at the end. What's the necessary? So I'm saying that it's not the first time we have heard.
So that's my question. My question is: is this one of the reasons one of the things that is discouraging competitiveness? Is this one of the reasons why some teams who normally we believe to have a good competitive strength, they are not at the level we used to know them?
I was actually reaching there. That's what I was saying. I start again from there. It is not the first time. We have had several situations, several incidents like such from different mandates and precise different mandates. And since we have seen as how it has been functioning in the past, what teams had to do is that they engage managers that will be able to forecast this type of situation, that okay, we might play this competition, we go and we win it, at the end we will now receive our money. What should we do then? Then they should know how they spend. They should know how they fit. They should even know how they transport their players. You should not go and buy a player that demands maybe like 1 million for his transfer fee, and maybe 500, maybe just say 500,000 maybe for salary, for instance. It's just an example. And then what you have in your pocket is not even up to 5 million. You see, that makes it very difficult. How will you manage the other players that were already there before signing in the new person? How will you manage even the transportation, the lodging facility? Like for instance, Colombe, they are going to sign a player from Ghana. I mean, from Ghana, right far from Ghana. That means he does not have a house in Cameroon. He needs to pay taxes. You see. So if it's that all of those things have to fall on them, how would they manage such a situation? So now I'm saying that they had to foresee that signing a big player like Musa Adam from Ghana would have brought down to the finances. That means they were cut short the finances of the club. What we had to do then is that we had to preview that, okay, this will be a very, very bad transfer, and it can equally bring down the amount, the salaries of other players. So that you're able to fit in. And if it's that you want to really fit in, bringing down the other salaries of other players too, they need to look for other alternatives. For instance, signing partnerships. Because up to now, I think Colombe has some partners, but not really big partners. The other option is the visibility, the number of publicities they actually propel out there. Another option too is their youth category. How many players do we have in our youth category? How many players have we been able to sell? How many players can actually bring in the income? So all of these coming back to the fact whereby from there now they'll be able to judge if the competitiveness of the championship is worth it. Because that's another point. You won't go and be playing a championship whereby, okay, for instance, at the end you will not touch anything, and then at the end you will see more than half of your players tired at the end of the championship, and you don't have anything at the end. That's why you see formation clubs like Les Brazaris, the Brazaris to Cameroon, deciding to remain in the youth category and not moving right up to the elite category, because they don't see anything. They don't see how much they will gain from the championship. They will prefer to sell their players. That means they form and they sell, and it ends there.
There's something I just want Evans to know. You know, all we have seen Cologne could have considered taking about a manager and whatsoever if they were the ones really giving out the money. I told you that their president, Doko Ejan, their president,
was not the
said
one.
It. He said that we are functioning according to elite. You know, so it means that
it's the elites that decide for the club.
So it means that money is coming from somewhere anyhow. Like you just give money to a girl, you think that she will just if she's not conscious, you think that she'll be there thinking about she will just be saying because she knows that anytime anyhow the money will still come back. So for they cannot think about that properly.
So probably the team. So you are trying to say the team did not think about proper streams to regain investment since the money was not coming from them. They were just interested in
that is one, and then two. You know, the president is a member, I think, of FECAFOOT executive committee. You know that. So I think for him, his role there is to show that Cameroon football is going on well. While others are playing, you should make sure that you should not play. While others are crying, I mean, you should make sure that you send a different face to them. You send a different face to all those who are crying, making as if the other presidents are the ones disturbing or the other clubs are the ones just boycotting the championship. Meanwhile, we are having all the same problem, and we are not one. How comes that from day one you started winning, you don't have your money? You win another trophy, you don't have your money. Now you go, you win the third one. You go out, concerning African competition. You come back, you don't tell us anything, because now you are chronologically going down the table, and then those who are investing are putting you pressure. That is now you are coming out to say that no, don't say that I am there. No, what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. First of all, they are not the ones spending, so that's why they don't care about the ROI, return of investment. They don't care about it. They cannot even think about it. For them, if there's a president, there's the vice president, the secretary, there's somebody in charge of communication, full stop, who is going to manage whatsoever. In fact, for them, it's like it will bring another a huge number of personnel that you need to pay them. Meanwhile, they're not there for that. They are there to sell a good image of their club, and that's the trap. We are okay to see that a club in Cameroon will go maybe and rent. They will stay in a hotel for like 1 week. They eat well, they dress well, they go through and flow with planes and whatsoever. We are happy. It's our country, it's our local championship that is being sold. But now you are the ones now suffering. And if you now decided that no, let me suffer as Jesus. When Jesus suffered, he did not complain. Don't complain till the end. That's what I want them to know. Don't complain till the end. So that is it.
Okay, thank you very much, Jonas. We have just a few more minutes to go, and I'd like for us to spend these few minutes out of the country, notably with the Premier League, which caught my attention. Ivan William Jobati, the headlines of the week is this Manchester United guy who has denied to ship. I mean, United deprived him of the opportunity of shipping yesterday.
You won't say it's United that deprived him of the opportunity. He's the one who actually started with the bid that if United does not win, he will not shift. So far as United wins, he's going to shift 5 games in a row. So we were almost close to seeing the guys bold head, but unfortunately United prevented us from that. But I think it's his decision, because if we wanted to really shift, we would have shifted a long time ago. Because United, to me, Israel United now, they are in form. That should equally be a big comment, because this was a club whereby we thought they were dying out of the Premier League. At one point in time, we already saw United in the second division, which to me would have been a very, very big taboo. To me, why do I say taboo? Because United is one of the, I can say they are the founding fathers of the Premier League. This is one of the clubs that actually motivated the popularity of the Premier League. And to see a United going to the second division is, unthinkable.
And he was even the favorite club of the late Queen of England.
Yeah, exactly.
She was a fan of Manchester United.
Manchester United.
Now talking about that guy, I think that guy, if I was the one, I would have said that if they do 5 matches in a row without losing any match,
without losing,
that is not lose. Yes, that does just being undefeated, as you said.
But now the guy has gone too far already. Do you feel like United can never, by any chance? Because now he has to start back from the beginning.
Yes.
Do you think that this thing can ever happen?
Nothing that he has already done more than 419 days without shaving. I think
that should be already more than a year.
It's more than a year. I think we'll just continue in the same trend. But I like what Carrick said before during the pre-match conference. He said that he's aware of the situation, but he's not going to talk about that in the locker room. It's not going to be discussion on the table. So we should just avoid something concerning what social media trend enter in our. We know they are all aware of that, and in one way or the other, I am sure that thing had a particular pressure on them.
Exactly.
Because the whole world, that United match, if you go and if you control
the eyes were mostly on the guy.
Yes, if you control the number of audience that they had, just that match, you see that it literally increased compared to last match. Why? Because it's a social media trend, and then so I myself, I said. I was in front of that match saying that I want United to win until when they conceded the first goal. The man was already going to the air and say, I was supporting United because I want them also to have a five match
in a row.
Yeah. And which of course I didn't even notice that they did more than how can I say more than a year without winning 5 matches in a row. Because if that guy was not there, you could never imagine that they have that kind of statistic. Yeah. So what I can say is that he should just continue with what he did, and of course, as Ivan said, no one obliges him to.
Now, Ivan, I'm trying to look at how soon this guy can shift.
No, a true fan. Now, true fan remains with the club to the end.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. I'm trying to
look at the next 5 matches.
Yes, that the next game is away to Everton. After that, they have Palace, they have Newcastle, Aston Villa, they have Bournemouth, they have Leeds, they have Chelsea, Brentford, Liverpool, Sunderland. Now with all these fixtures, do you think something that can happen?
Yes,
in this current season.
Of course, because first of all, you should take note that the new management of Manchester United, I'm talking about Michael Carrick, he came with a different physiology, he came with a different ambition, different zeal, and even his preaching in the locker room is different, and that has brought a new flair to Manchester United, and that's why you see Manchester United actually playing the way they play. I mean, who would have ever thought of putting a Brian Bomo that is a winger as a 9? False 9, and it works. Who would have ever thought of bringing back Kobe Mino into the midfield ahead of Casemiro, or maybe leaving out Mason Mount? It's working. Who would have ever even thought of bringing in? I mean, he has brought a lot of changes to the squad. He has given confidence to a player like Benjamin Sesko that has not scored, that did not score before he's coming for a long while. Ever since he was signed from RB Leipzig, Red Bull Leipzig, for a lot of pounds. Who would have even thought that Michael Carrick would be able to blend all of these spirits to be able to gain victories 4 matches in a row, having our Brian Bromo scoring scoring 9 goals in the Premier League. I mean, over 9 goals in the Premier League. So you see that the mentality is there. It is more of positive than negative now. I think, as Brian Bromo even said in one of his interviews, that it's just to see what the future holds, and the future is bright. And we believe that this guy is going to shape finally.
Thank you very much, Evans William Jobati. A big thank you to you equally, Jonas, for the region. I mean, it was so nice to have you on board today.
It was also a pleasure for me to be there.
Hopefully, we would have you again next time. Thank you very much, Evans. We have reached the end, ladies and gentlemen. On the dashboard, to ensure that you hear us 5 on 5, we had Yurish Kemwe. Just behind him on the cameras, Brian Bida took care of our social media handles, notably on YouTube.